Even when the crash is on the opposite side of the driver, serious injuries can still occur. Most Americans in their lifetime have a 99% chance of being in a car accident. So, what we're going over today could be helpful to you, to someone that you love, or somebody that you know. And for all of my car geeks out there, yes, you are having bullet flashbacks here. And I refer to the famous Steve McQueen movie, the very first car chase ever filmed. It was through the streets of San Francisco. This is the Eleanor, the Mustang that he used. This is the Challenger RT that the bad guys drove. So yes, I apologize to everybody. So I'm both a film buff and a car geek. But anyway, let's talk about this kind of collision. And the very first thing I'm going to talk about is the whiplash effect. So coming in at speed at a side impact like that, the first thing it's going to do, it's going to throw your body this way. So what's going to happen? You're going to have a whiplash whipping motion back and forth, just like this. Now, what is this going to do? This is going to tear all of the ligaments in your neck, and it's going to cause what is called ligament laxity, which is a stretching of your ligaments, and they never, ever, ever go back to where they were. Never. What happens is the body is going to try to compensate for that by the muscles trying to take over and do the job that the ligaments are supposed to do so that our head doesn't become a bobblehead. When that happens, you're going to get muscle fatigue. The muscles are going to start cramping. That's where you get the pain in your neck. Now, you mentioned whiplash to an adjuster. He's going to scoff at it. He's going to tell you that pain's all in your head. That adjuster is a liar. That pain is real, and that pain is in your neck. During all this time, when the body's going back and forth like this, you have the primary motion and then you have the secondary motion. And your head can be injured and you can have head impacts and brain bleeds from either the primary or the secondary motion. Let me explain. So if you're going this way from the primary motion, your head can strike the B pillar, which is this structure right here, okay, or the window glass, or the A pillar, which is this structure right here. When you rebound back from that, because the inertia of the force will push you this way, and then it will bring you back this way like that, then that it can cause a very violent shaking of the structures within inside your cranium. And what that can do, that can lead to what we call a brain bleed or a brain shear. Now, when there's a strike, a forceful strike, we can have brain bleeds along here, or if it hits the pillar or anything like that, we can have brain bleeds up here, and the brain itself can go back and forth in a violent manner. And what that will do is that will cause the microcapillaries within the brain itself to break and bleed and cause a brain bleed. And when the body heals, and this is just how the brain heals, it's going to reabsorb that blood. And when it does, it leaves holes in the brain where that blood was, just like Swiss cheese. Yes, I said just like Swiss cheese. This can cause all manner of long-term cognitive effects. And this is very serious. If you've been in this type of collision, you need to seek treatment early. And diagnostic tests, particularly, there's a particular type of a magnetic type of MRI that can be done on your brain to look for the brain bleeds, to find out what areas of your brain have been affected. And when all this is going on, let's not forget our jaw joint. Now, this has a big fancy name. This is called your temporomandibular joint. And that's a great big long name, but what it really means, that's your jaw joint. And if you see here, there's a pad of tissue here upon which this joint rests, and it's the fulcrum where the jaw joint moves back and forth. Now, if the jaw joint is injured or there's some sort of dysregulation of the jaw joint, this causes an incredibly great amount of pain, and that pain will radiate all the way up through here into your brain, around the back of your neck, cause incredible migraine headaches. And if you don't realize that this injury came from that accident, you're not going to tell the doctor. The doctor is not going to know to look for it or treat for it. And so the best thing for you to do is to seek medical help early, and even just as important, seek help from qualified trauma-trained attorneys who know how to look at the impact and then look for the injuries that you might be suffering and take a detailed medical history so that we can understand exactly where you have been hurt and then get you to the appropriate medical treatment so that you can have the very best recovery possible. Finally, on top of all this, your torso and your limbs, your arms, your leg, your shoulder rotator, your knees, everything like that, in this type of violent impact, you're going to be tossed around, and these structures of your body are going to hit the internal framework structures of the car itself. That's going to cause injuries too. So all of this, all of these injuries can do and are very common in this type of injury. So that's why it's extremely important. Seek help early. Be sure that you document everything. Get all the evidence of the impact, because if you cannot prove the impact, you will never prove the injury. If you notice headaches, neck pain, or jaw clicking after a crash, these can be signs of a permanent, long-lasting injury. You need to seek medical treatment early. You need to consult an attorney early. Gather the evidence to prove the impact so that we can prove your injury. 888, we fight.